Faculty are critically important to student success. And I know that feels like an overstatement, and every faculty is like, yes, and what we know is that the research suggests that faculty are the gatekeepers of student success. But what we know is that students have to be, if they come here, they want to succeed, they want to get the degree, they have to be in front of our faculty 14 to some 18, 20 hours if they have labs per week. That's not an optional undertaking. You're here to do that. And so learning and being curious, because you are clearly curious if you are a faculty member, and you are sitting in front of curious souls. And so matching curiosity and being able to co-create and think about lectures and experiential learning opportunities inside and outside of the classroom, it's just what better place than a place like Western to engage in that. And we have faculty that are here for it, right? I feel like they know, they're curious, they're constantly engaging with students in bold ways. And so it's just exciting to support and work with a group of folks who understand their role in cultivating the richness of the lives of these young people for which we're charged with supporting. All of the things that they do are significant. All of the things that faculty do are really significant to students. There are no small things. So faculty are so critically important. I'll give you an example. So we have a faculty member, Professor Borowski, who does amazing work. And so what I understand is at the beginning of class, she uses tents for students. And so we all know that there are faculty members that do that, but she has gone the extra mile. And the way Professor Borowski uses tents is she uses them as a tool to communicate with students. I can imagine in her classroom when she's teaching math that she is using, or she stated that she uses it for students who get stuck or who have questions or who you want to communicate with her. And the way I used it in my classroom, very similar but not exactly, is I would invite students to create on their tents. And it said things like they didn't realize that they were communicating with me about things that were maybe marginally, but certainly important to them. The reason why I think that the way Professor Borowski uses tents is so meaningful is that she's gone the extra mile to say, not only am I going to look at that as a way to communicate with you, but I'm also going to honor how you have chosen to integrate that into your learning experience. So I just really wanted to kind of give a shout out to Professor Borowski for doing that work. There is another professor, Professor Jill Davashal, does amazing work in a place that I think we need her. Engineering is so intimidating for so many students. It is a major that often has been seen as male-dominated, exclusive, extremely rigorous, so weed out culture is part of the norm there. And so when I think about the work, that it is such important work for marginalized students to feel like they have a place, create curriculum that is inclusive and socially relevant to them, come up with examples in her curriculum, which I understand that she does, that feels engaging for students from marginalized backgrounds. That is intentional engagement. And for curricula where students don't often see themselves, that seemingly small, but it's huge gesture can be the reason why a student decides that, you know what, I'm going to hang in there. And maybe I took this course because I was curious to see if I could absorb this information, but it sounds like she makes it fun and engaging and relevant to students across all types of backgrounds. Kudos to our professors for doing that great work. Professor John McLaughlin does amazing work. And I'm just going to hang on to this 10-day field experience because I think experiential learning is where it is. I think it's what's happening. Get out of the classroom and learn, have real experiences out there within the world. It's like a living lab. A living learning lab when you can get your students out and co-create experiences out in the world. I think that it requires some vulnerability. It requires creativity. It requires openness to learning and allowing students to kind of show up in spaces and really co-create the experience with you. And so Professor McLaughlin sounds like the kind of professor who has a bold curiosity and wants to do things differently. And students love that. Students love when you are inviting them to do things that are just beyond their comfort zone. The idea that we could come together and create these experiential learning opportunities that John McLaughlin has clearly mastered, I think is one of the ways that easily can set Western apart because we are in a beautiful place. Being able to partake in that, but also having permission to play in that is centering play, but also centering learning. And in my book, it's the kind of the same thing, right? You can learn hard, you can work hard, but you can also play hard. And there is no incongruence in that work. So I am really excited and proud about the professors that we are featuring this year because they are showing us what true leadership in the classroom is like. And they are also responding very boldly to the idea that professors are gatekeepers of students' well-being because they are instilling a sense of well-being in the work that they're doing. And they may not even be thinking about it as that, but they're literally doing that work. And so for that, I am grateful.